Right, we're recording and I have 2 files sitting in the folder, which is good. They can stay there. I'll leave all this shit up. And that's beautiful.
Okay.
Okie doke. Second episode of Whitepapercast. This is a re-recording because I buggered up the first one. So, the first one was actually 2 hours, which is a bit scary. Well, the first version of this second episode was two hours, which is just nuts.
So we're going to maybe try and keep it down a little bit this time.
We're going to condense this to something that is a lot easier to digest. Now, I've come up with a quick, what is it? Example, I suppose it is, of how you could regard or how you could consider and think about the blockchain database system, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's a blockchain database. What is it? Paradigm? Nah. Yeah, I suppose it is. It's a different way of looking at how databases are constructed.
What is, sorry?
The blockchain.
Yeah.
The blockchain is a database paradigm, isn't it? Is it a paradigm? Or just application, function, message? What is it? Tell me what it is.
Yeah. I guess you could call it a paradigm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. It's probably wrong, but it doesn't matter. The blockchain idea or concept.
You just call it.
It's a concept, for God's sake.
You just call it a database, really.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
It's a blockchain database. That's what everybody else says. You can talk.
Yeah, but they could be wrong as well.
No, okay, because you're getting too abstract, because now you're talking about what the...
Am I doing what I get accused of overthinking?
You're talking about the design of it. You're not... We're just talking about what the common database is. We're not talking about the concept of...
storing data and distributing it and decentralizing it and all that sort of stuff. Okay. So I'll stop overthinking it. I'll get incredibly simple. Let's think, everybody should be familiar with an Excel spreadsheet. Hang on. What, you were going to say something? What?
I was going to say, let's start again.
Let's start again? No, we don't have to. We don't have to. Look, this adds to the colour and character of the is it a broadcast? It's not a broadcast yet until we've published it. See, we're overthinking again. Stop it. Now, and you can stop laughing too. Because this is serious. It's blockchain, for God's sake. It's the future of the planet as we know it. We've already discussed the biblical implications of blockchain, and we don't want to go there with Book of Revelations and all that sort of crap, do we? So let's not. We don't. We'll drag this back to something that people will stop rolling their eyes over. The blockchain. Easiest way to conceptualize, there's a nice word, the easiest way to conceptualize the blockchain is imagine you have an Excel spreadsheet keeping a record of transactions, which a lot of people do. They enter receipts in there, keep a record of bits and pieces, right? That Excel spreadsheet, while it's sitting on your PC, is centralized and not distributed. Why? Well, it's sitting on your PC. No one else can get to it, theoretically, and no one else can edit it or muck around with it. Right, beautiful. If you share that with another member of the household and they then have a copy of that Excel spreadsheet and they have permission to edit it, now it becomes decentralized and distributed because you've given a copy to them, they can edit it, so on and so on. Now, the problem you're going to have is they're going to enter a record and you're not going to have a record of that record, and you're going to enter a record and they're not going to have a copy of it. So that's a bit of a mess. So the blockchain has come up with a solution to that, and it's called the consensus algorithm, and the 2 records have to agree or one gets thrown out. Right. That's a distributed and decentralized database. Once you can come up with a formula of getting these records propagated throughout both copies of the Excel spreadsheet, once you come up with an algorithm or a programming function to be able to manage that, you now have a distributed and decentralized database. Now, that's all the blockchain is. It's really that simple. Now, the problem is every time a record is entered or edited or removed, you have to distribute new copies of that data wherever the Excel spreadsheet happens to reside. If that Excel spreadsheet is sitting up on thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of computers around the world, you are taking a copy of one record and distributing it all over the planet. That means that record has exponentially increased in its data demands. So if the record just happens to be, for the sake of argument, 1K, and you distribute it to 1,024 people, you've distributed 1 meg of data. Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. All of a sudden, 1K became 1,024 if you've got 1,024 copies of that data, that Excel spreadsheet all over the place, which is not unrealistic in decent-sized businesses of, let's say, 1,000 employees that all might have a copy of this Excel spreadsheet. How the hell do you distribute data like that? Right, what you do then is you introduce a fair income database like MySQL or Postgres or Mongo or whatever. You introduce a fair income database and you centralize it, and everybody logs in to the database and makes edits, additions, and deletions of data as they see fit or as their needs are. Well, that then becomes a re-centralized database. You're not distributing this database all over the place. What they're doing is logging into an interface to be able to read the data and interact with the data. So that's centralized and not distributed. The data is, but the database isn't.
So could you explain to the listeners what the technical definition of a fair income database?
Fair income database. As in something that's real, because an Excel spreadsheet is not a goddamn database. As many people as I've seen use Excel as a database, it's not a database. It's a spreadsheet designed for mathematical calculation. A database is designed for record keeping. But because of the rows, and columnar nature of Excel, people naturally gravitate towards it because it looks a lot like on the computer screen. It looks a lot like what the old column ledgers used to look like. So therefore, that's what people have ended up using it for. Well, it's a bloated ton of crap and should not be. And when I'm king of the world, people will be tied to a stake and set on fire if they're using Excel as a database. So there we go.
That's fair enough.
That means you don't want me king of the world. So I'll have to do it by some sort of coup because no one will vote for that. But anyway. I'm gonna take. Can I take a breath now? There you go. I've just done the blockchain. Now all we need to do to validate the records. Stop laughing, Ray. This isn't funny. This is serious. The future of the world is at stake here. I'm serious. You don't want me to throw any more Fed incomes around, do you? Oh dear, this is really sad. You know, there's hundreds of billions of dollars at stake, and you're sitting there in what, the South Island of goddamn New Zealand, giggling away.
Okay, let's just say I'm done there.
He's bloody not.